Hello, brilliant entrepreneur. It's Tash Corbin here, and welcome to another episode of the Heart Centered Business Podcast. This is episode number 266, which means you can find all the relevant links and show notes for today's episode over at tashcorbin.com/266. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you how to brand yourself. And no, I'm not talking about tattoos or anything along those lines, but how to bring you forward in your brand and brand as yourself, because you are the most important asset in your business. Now, regardless of whether you are a personal brand, i.e. whether your name is your business name or not, I think that this is a really important conversation for us to have. So let's dive on in. I'm Tash Corbin, and this is the Heart Centered Business Podcast. At the end of the day, the most important factor that makes me want to create this podcast episode is that humans are craving connection with other humans. And especially in our buying experiences, we want to buy from other humans. Never before have we seen so many advertisements on TV and on social media that dial up the whole human-to-human connection. Banks want to reassure you that you'll be able to speak to a human, not to a machine. So many businesses are moving away from automated processes and creating that deep human-to-human connection. And so regardless of whether you decide to brand your business as your name or not, you are the most important asset in your business as the human face of your business, as the human element in your business, as the human we can connect to all of the time in your business. Now, when I mean all of the time, I mean that you are the underlying human element of your business. Whether you are the person speaking to someone or not on your help desk, or whether you are the person replying to direct messages or not, ultimately, you're the person who started this business. You are the person behind this business. And so therefore, you are the common thread in your business. You're the decision maker, and you are the one who runs the show. Therefore, we want to make sure as much as possible that if you're able to bring yourself forward in your brand, that you're doing it in a way that's going to feel good for you and also increase that conversion by increasing connection. So here are my 4 key tips on how to brand as yourself. Number 1 is show up and share. Show up, talk about what you do, share what you know, teach us something, provide some value. And regardless of whether you've got your messaging completely sorted out, whether you know exactly what you want to be teaching, whether you've still got some niching to do, the most powerful thing you can do today is just show up and start sharing. The more you show up and share, the more you're going to be able to work out what's the right fit for you, how you want to talk about your work, and also you'll find the right words. It's also the perfect opportunity for you to practice showing up, sharing your face, sharing your voice, and sharing your unique perspective on the work that it is that you do. And the best way to do that is show up and share. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is get to know yourself. So if you see one of those personality quizzes, or what type of cheese are you? Okay, maybe that's not so helpful, but if you see those opportunities to really get to know yourself a little deeper, to understand more about your personality, what comes forward, what lights you up, I find that's really helpful in me establishing how I'm going to show up in my business, what the right model is for me, and also how to bring more of me forward in my brand. So really get to know yourself more, and don't see those opportunities for self-reflection and self-understanding and self-knowledge as frivolous, but instead see it as a powerful part of your marketing in your business. The more you know yourself, the more you can make decisions about how to bring that forward in your business. Tip number 3 is that you don't need to be a caricature. So I see this quite a bit when people first start branding as themselves. They share once that they love penguins and then all of a sudden they feel like they have to be the penguin loving person, or they share once that they love cookies and then every second photo of them is them with a cookie. So I understand that there are certain parts of your personality that you want to bring forward, but just be mindful that the more you caricature yourself, the less human you will actually feel to us. So there is a fine line. There's a bit of a balance between, yes, you want to find those things you want to bring forward, but don't make them your personality. The fact that you love lasagna does not make you a human being, and it's not the core of your personality. The fact that you like to go on walks or that you meditate, yes, it's a part of who you are and what you do each day, but it's not a core foundation of your personality. It's simply something that you enjoy doing. So resist the temptation to overly caricature yourself and instead share more of yourself in the human way rather than trying to turn yourself into a character. So, yes, you might love dogs, but does that mean you need to hate cats? Or yes, you love meditating and walking on the beach, but does that mean that everything we see of you needs to be done on the beach, or every photo we see of you is in meditation poses? So it's just about understanding that a human is a complex and dynamic creature, not a character that's two-dimensional. So as much as possible, bring more diversity to the things that you share about yourself forward, and try not to slip into being a character. Instead, be a real human. And that can be a tricky one sometimes. Again, it just takes a little bit of practice. And then the final tip that I would give in terms of branding yourself and bringing you forward within your brand is to connect with what the feeling is that you want people to experience when they find you. When I'm thinking about my brand and how I show up online and who I am, I want people to feel like they are safe. I want people to feel like they are heard. I want people to feel empowered and inspired. But I also want people to feel like they've got the answers. They've got some insight, that this is a really practical space that gives them some really solid advice. And so when it comes to that feeling that I want to create for my audience, it's not just inspiration all of the time. It's not just that feeling of human connection or that, lovely kindness or that generosity or gentleness. There's also a big element of, and now I know how to move forward. So the feeling that I'm creating there is almost like this sense of confidence, this sense of groundedness, that this isn't just a space for inspiration and feeling loved up. This is also a space where I come to get advice, and that advice really can be implemented very quickly. So have a think about what the feelings are that you want to elicit for your brand and in your business, and how can you bring that forward as the human element of your business as well. So hopefully you've found these 4 tips a little out of the box, but also very helpful for bringing you forward in your brand and therefore capturing your most important business asset and making sure that that shows up not just in delivery, but also in your marketing. If you are looking to build your personal brand, to show up and be of service, if you'd like some extra support to get your work in front of more people and more of those people to be your paying clients, I'd love for you to come and check out my free resource. It's called Fast Track Your Startup, and you can find it with the show notes of today's episode at tashcorbin.com/266. As always, if this has brought up any light bulb moments for you or you've got follow-up questions, come on over to the Heart-Centered Soul-Driven Entrepreneurs Facebook community. Use hashtag #PodcastAha. Let me know you've been listening to episode number 266, and let's continue the conversation there. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Heart-Centered Business Podcast. Until next time, I cannot wait to see you shine. Bye for now. Would you like more tips, tools, and resources to help you grow your heart-centered business? Head to tashcorbin.com today.